Yeah. All right, gotta work on that. Like retreating. All right. All praises to the Most High. Welcome to the new moon, second month. Yasha Allah. Let's stand and face Jerusalem, or the east, which is this way, and we begin with the Lord's Prayer.
Come.
All right, this is the Lord's Prayer in Paleo Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malachaka, Taba'ah, Watazaka, Hayah, Hasha, Barataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Natatanawa, Lacham, Cow, Yawam, Wasalachnawa, Kasalachnawa, Kabawafinawa, Wala'ah, Tabayanawa, Balasai 1, Abal, Shinawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Malakwa, Wa'ala, Watapara, Laru Lamyam, Amen. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6, and verse 9. After this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen.
Shema. Yasharallah.
Yahweh.
Yahweh. Allah Haynawa. Yahweh. Shema. Yasharallah. Yahweh. Allah Haynawa. Yahweh. Shema. Yasharallah. Yahweh. Allah Haynawa. Yahweh, our power is one. Deuteronomy 6, verse 4. Creole of Israel. Hallelujah. Kom Yashala. All right. Guys, have a seat. Welcome. All praises to the Most High. Another month. Celebrate life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in Babylon. And while we do that, the Most High is destroying Babylon. So one thing we have to do is prepare for the future. Prepare to be carried around without your feet touching the ground, women. Men, prepared to be kings on the earth and beyond.
Come.
This is something that we have to envision and understand that it is not only going to come to pass, you can see it happening now. A lot of cleaving going on. People want to be your friend. People want to be your buddy. What's going on? What are you thinking? What are you saying? This, that, and the third. But like Yatai was just mentioning, we had a class talking about the atrocities that happened in America. And part of that, one brother was getting strung up and lynched, and he could recognize the faces of the people that were lynching him. And they were familiar faces. We say used to shine their shoes. Used to see him at church. I don't know if he was at church, but like you see him around the neighborhood.
He was cleaning the cars, a little bit of everything.
Like there's such and such, and there's such and such.
Right.
So you can imagine how many of our ancestors, that was the last thing they seen before, being taken off this planet. Familiar faces that they know. They a lot of people that were lynched were shop owners, business owners. So what, they weren't just picking anybody off the street. They'll say, "Oh, a crime just happened. Let's get Mo. Let's get old man Joe that owns the shoe shop, or you know what I mean. He does the horseshoes or whatever. You know what I mean. Something that was successful and that they were jealous of. They took that opportunity to unalive him. Okay. So never trust thy enemy. And one part about this, we're going to prepare to be the kings and the princesses of the planet, but also prepare to know when to be still, know when to do absolutely nothing. When you see your enemy getting destroyed, hey, all praise to the Most High. You know what I mean? Ain't no need to get in front of that bullet, get in front of that gun, because the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our power, is destroying them. All right, let's start with Malachi 3:1. And it's a beautiful thing we can gather at this time. You know what I mean? All this stuff going on, all this madness. We're going to bring this up a few times tonight, but India and Pakistan are now at war with each other. They're literally shooting at each other. These are two nuclear countries. They hate each other. You know what I mean? And I know I might mention this every time I mention India and Pakistan, but it goes without saying, they look similar. Just like we could look similar to Africans. Yep. You know what I'm saying? You could tell the difference in some cases, but some cases you can't tell the difference. So just because we might look similar, it's different spirits, different nationality, all that. Okay. But along with that, we have Iran that just got blown out of existence almost. 700 people injured, which I'm sure pretty bad injuries. And so far, 5 dead last time I checked. Who knows who did it? Could have been Israel. Could have been United States. But I'm sure we'll figure it out soon. And that will probably continue on to go towards this World War III. All right, so let's bring it out. Now I got 3:1.
Khan, this is the book of Malachi, chapter 3 and verse 1. When everybody have it, please say Khan. Khan, verse 1. Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord, whom ye seek, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts.
So this is preparing the way of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? John the Baptist played that part, right? When Christ was walking the earth, beginning to walk the earth and do his ministry, and we're going to play that role now. Okay, we're going to do that job. We'll let people know that Christ is coming back. That sky is going to get cracked and people's heads are going to get cracked. So prepare yourself for it. You know what I mean? Examine yourself before that day. Because once that day comes, you can't backtrack. You know what I mean? Esau will tell you in a heartbeat that the CIA has a time travel apparatus. You know what I mean? They can travel time. So you can think, if you believe the stuff that Esau says, that he's gotten chariots and able to back engineer them, you'd be scared to death of this devil. You know what I mean? What can he do? But if he could do that, I'm sure things would be a lot different. Do you know what I'm saying? If he had the ability to do that, this whole planet would be gone by now. we would not be here.
Mm-hmm.
He would go back in time with a nuclear weapon, and the minute slavery is over, he would nuke us.
Yep.
He doesn't have that type of power. Okay. But what he does have is a lot of hate, aggression, just a lot of evil spewing out off of him towards God's chosen people and towards the Most High. You know what I mean? So part of our job is to tell our people to prepare. The way Trump is moving, he says he can bring people that haven't done anything to a supermax prison. You know what I mean? How do you go from, I've been doing good my entire life, I ain't been locked up, or I haven't been locked up in 10 years, 20 years, got my life together, and all of a sudden you have a president that says you can get locked up for no reason at all.
And Salakia, he's the convicted felon. And he's the one that's the convicted felon that's saying this. You can't make this up.
That's a good point, King. 34 felonies.
Only 34.
Only 34 felonies. And he ain't spent one day in jail. Can you name an African tribe that's supposed to be the Edomites that can do something like that?
Yes.
Or the Arabs? The Arabs, the Edomites, right?
Yeah.
That's the Edomites. How many Arabs are able to do something like that, to spin move out of a conviction, 34 felonies, and not spend one day in jail? Ain't too many, man. I don't know any. Only Esau. And Esau says, I got a small loan of $1 million. Come on, man. He's running things. Let's just be honest, But as we can see, the more we wake up, the more he's getting knocked down to size. The more Elon Musk is, losing billions of dollars, losing, even though they say they're best friends still, you can see the rift between them two starting to divide because they're two very proud Edomites and they have to be in charge. You can't have two, they're not even alpha males. You know what I'm saying? You have two Edomites that are really, betas that just the Most High propped them up. You know what I mean? Satan to prop them up and they have to be right.
Yep.
So with that, only took a couple months, less than 100 days. They ain't even cool no more. You know what I mean? And he might put Elon Musk in that jail. You know what I'm saying? It might go down to that point because Elon came out and started talking crazy about his the economic policies that he's doing and how it's losing, America's losing all this money and the stock market's collapsing and this tariffs don't work. So Trump kind of let that slide. If he comes on live again in an interview and says that, Elon might find himself getting locked up, and we'll pray on that. You know what I'm saying? We're going to pray on that tonight. Okay. Let's go to Luke 12:47. All right. Because the beauty about the new moons and our gatherings that the powers that be realize that, and also the people that aren't, people that like the Edomites that they don't have any idea what's going on. Our people that don't have any idea what's going on. It's just really at the top that understand that these gatherings are extremely spiritual, right? And along with that spirituality comes angels and judgments and all these amazing things. So that's what we're going to do afterwards. You know what I mean? After we're done reading the scriptures and eating, drinking, and be merry, we're going to prophesy the downfall of America. You know what I mean? Because from sundown to sundown is the new moon. It's a very spiritual time. We have a double Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? Back to back. So what's the Most High going to do this time? He's going to drop some more planes out the sky. You know what I mean? It happened in Illinois, right? Okay. And the wind picks up.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
It's going to be some amazing things happening. And I, for one, am very excited. You know what I'm saying? I'm very happy to be here. You know what I mean? and see what God's going to do to these wicked, diabolical beasts. And we saw just a fraction of the things they've done to us. You know what I mean? And so far, it's still up online, right? We're talking about that class this morning, talking about American terrorism, Slovakia, American history, where it has some lynchings, some mass incarceration, what they did to the Native Americans, just a portion of what they done. So when the Most High does judge them, we give them all praise, honor, and glory. All right. Let's bring that out. Luke 12 and 47.
Khan, this is the book of St. Luke, chapter 12 and verse 47. Everybody have it? Please say Khan.
Khan.
Khan, verse 47. And going into the red letter. The Lord of that servant will come in a day when he looketh not for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in sunder, and will appoint him his portion with the unbelievers.
Khan, go ahead.
Verse 48. Salakia, verse 47. And that the servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes.
So if you know better, you do better. That's what it comes down to. You know what I mean? We know what the Most High requires of us. We know that it's the law. You know what I mean? No need to add on to the law. No need to take away from it. You know, like the Pharisees and Sadducees says, you got to wash your hands before you eat. That's man's law. But we will rather obey God rather than man. You know what I'm saying? So let's not fall into those traps, following after Easter and, you know, Halloween, all these other fake holidays made up, these pagan holidays, and has nothing to do with the Most High God. All right. So we don't want to get beat with many stripes. We don't want to have God get us again. You know what I'm saying? We're already going through this hell on earth here in America, dealing with these Edomites, these other nations, the wicked 2/3. You know what I mean? Can't stress that enough because, you know, our people, some of our people are just completely off. And the only people they hurt, the only people they go after is people that look like them. So that is, you know, a destroyed mind. That's a slave mentality. You know what I mean? And once brought to the light, because, you know, we all live in ignorance at one point in time. Once brought to the light, if you continue to go on that route, the Most High God is going to destroy you because now you know better. At one point, he winked at our ignorance. But our preparation now is to be perfect.
Right.
Our aim is to be perfect. Not, all right, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be, you know, just to get by or whatever. We have to aim for perfection to make our election sure. All right. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24 and verse 13. So, of course, how are we going to know our Lord's will? We got to read. Right? We got to read. We got to read the law. We got to read what the prophet's saying, you know, Psalms, Proverbs, the gospel, you know, Paul's letters, you know, but you got to start somewhere. Christianity starts at Paul's letters and think they know about the scriptures. You can't do that. Paul knew the law. Paul knew what to do. You know, now we, you know, in order to get to understand Paul's letters, you gotta know the Old Testament, so-called Old Testament. All right, let's bring that out. Matthew 24 and 13.
Khan, this is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 13. When everybody have it, please say Khan. Verse 13. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved.
So any Christian that goes out there talking about, oh, I'm saved by the blood of Jesus and everything, the scriptures say you got to endure to the end.
Khan.
You know what I mean? That's the word of God. Keep going. You can't be on the straight and narrow,
Mhm.
and then you fall off and expect, I was on the straight and narrow, 3-4 years ago. I'm doing pretty good, right? God got me. God knows my heart. You know what I mean? That mentality is a fast track into the lake of fire.
Mhm.
You know, and don't nobody want to be there. We're so close to the end with all these wars and rumors of wars. What's the point of stopping now?
Right.
You know what I mean? And even if you've been falling off, you know what I mean? Be the prodigal son. Come on back. Come on back to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You had to come back to your respective camp. Come back to God.
Right.
You know what I mean? The camp will, most high willing, get you in line, get you in order, not allow you to sin willfully, so forth and so on. But you got to talk to the Most High God.
Right.
That's the key. All right. Let's go to Isaiah 64 and 4. So continue to strive, Israel. It's not easy. You know what I mean? It's not easy. But something kind of caught my attention. I was taking something out to the car not too long ago, and our neighborhood Heathcliff, the cat, right? He's not scared of nothing, man. He walked right by him. He's like, whatever. He's tough as nails. But as I'm walking back from the car, I see him drinking out of the puddle that's in front of the house. I said, damn, that's like a prophetic sight. Like, it's gonna be a point in time where you're gonna look for a puddle and be like, man, I want some of that. You know what I mean? The still sitting water is just dirt and grime at the bottom of the mirror. You know, that is what's coming to America. So while if you're just doing nothing, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna sit on the couch, I'll be all right, yada yada yada. And then it's to the point in time where people are fighting over a puddle on the ground. Now you're gonna pray. Now I'm gonna get it together. But how many more people are gonna be praying the same prayer?
Right.
You know what I mean? At the time where you had liberty, you have an opportunity to make things right. All right, I'm gonna pray now. I'm gonna fast today. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna wear my fringes today. You know what I mean? I'm gonna read some scriptures today, at least 2 chapters. I'm gonna read at least 2 chapters a day. You know what I mean? I'm gonna stay focused on this word. When you have liberty, you just totally, throw your hands up. It's not necessary. It's not needed. You know what I mean? God knows my heart. And this is always going to be like this. We're always going to have McDonald's. We're always going to have Wendy's. I can get fast food like that. You're telling me it's all going to dry up? But I'm telling you right now, it's drying up now. It's actually drying up right now. Due to his tariffs, which, the guy that came up with this tariff thing, it's unbelievably how it's believable because it's Esau, but it's mind-boggling. I give you that. It's mind-boggling that they didn't see this coming. You know what I'm saying? The tariffs, no country actually gives you money to go to their ports. They'll just raise the prices. The Coach bag that costs $1,500 is now $2,000. Y'all gonna have to pay for it. You know what I mean? So right now they had a meeting with Walmart, Target executives, big chain groceries. They said the shelves are going to be empty soon. We probably got a week or 2 before the shelves are empty. And Trump lied. He said we're talking right now because he come to find out maybe he didn't realize that every time he says something about the market or tariffs that the market just crashes. So he finally lied, like Esau does, and said, oh, we're in contact with China now. So we're going to see if we can lower the tariffs. China came out immediately like, no, we're not. Nobody's talking to us. You know what I mean? But the markets, it started, going up, went like 7%. Everybody's happy. All right. Oh, happy day. But nothing changed. The tariffs are still on. Trump is still being trying to be a bully to somebody that isn't afraid of bullies. And it's going to affect us, continue to affect us, right? So that time's coming. Looking for water in a puddle is on its way.
Okay.
Jacob's trouble is on its way. The reason why I say we're getting there and not there, because you can still call the cops.
Mhm.
We still got lights. You know what I mean? It says it's gonna be the worst time ever. So that means worse than the slavery in Egypt, worse than Babylon. You know what I mean? Worse than all these other captivities that we had to go through. All right. So we got to endure to the end.
Salaki, they be running to us, trying to find us in that day.
Yeah.
Trying to find, what is it, Yeshua? What is his name again? Oh, yeah.
These guys with those funny clothes
on.
Where
Power
they
Rangers, yeah. Y'all wearing red today, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, what's the color for next week?
Right? Yeah, because now, put in some headphones. I don't have to listen to this. It's Saturday night, Friday night, just got paid. You know what I mean? That whole just I got time. I got time spirit, right? Nah, man, that time is running out. Okay. Let's bring that out in Isaiah 64 and 4.
Khan, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 64 and verse 4. When everybody have it, please say Khan. Verse 4. For since the beginning of the world, men have not heard, nor perceived by the ear, neither have the eye seen, O God, besides what he had prepared for him that waited for him.
Khan. So we don't even understand the benefits of this. You know what I mean? Our mind can't even comprehend the benefits of doing the Most High's will.
Right.
You know what I mean? So all the pictures of heaven and the way things look, those are just depictions. You know what I mean? They talk about, the gold on the floor is like clear as glass, and the carbuncle and all these precious jewels and money and all this other stuff, right? And slaves and everything.
Right.
But imagine the peace, you know what I mean? Of no gunshots, nobody getting beat up by the police officers. Well, none of our people getting beat up by the police officers. Right. Nothing terrible happening. No bullies, no extra tough guys, no Eve going off. No Jake going off. You know what I mean? Everybody is doing what they're supposed to do. That's the kingdom of heaven. You know what I mean? And the kingdom of heaven is within you. We put in these scriptures in our minds, it becomes a part of us, and we embody these scriptures. We just walking and talking like, man, that person right there, that's an unlearned person right there. Look at that Moabite over there. It's just do your constant conversation. You know what I'm saying? And there's going to be a point in time where the Most High flips a switch, and the things that we've been learning and been applying, the thoughts and patterns and situations that the Most High has been putting in our minds when we sleep, and that we wake up, I had a dream, I just can't remember what it is. The Most High is going to flip a switch where these things will be coming in our remembrance, and the situational awareness is going to be on a beam. We know how to move under any circumstances, any situation. That fear of these heathens and even our own people sometimes, it's going to be non-existent. For one, the Most High God is going to destroy our people that don't want to repent. They got to go. You know what I mean? Just like Nat Turner said, look, if they're not willing to do anything for freedom, they can't be here with us. You know what I mean? They have to go. They're the biggest issue we have, because Esau, we know he's a snake. You know what I mean? Once you're awake and Esau's a snake, don't ever trust him. But with our people, it's difficult because, man, that's my folks. You know what I mean? You might turn it around. Could be the prodigal son, this, that, and the third. But at the same time, they try to outsnake you more than Esau. So they got to go. The heathens, the Ishmaelites, Moabites, Ammonites, they got to go as well. And Esau, The things that's going to get done to him is, can't even say it. Community guidelines won't even allow us to say it. It's going to be bad though.
Con.
Definitely.
Yeah, we go over Ezekiel again.
I know, right? God. All right, let's go to 2 Ezra 14, verse 13.
Con.
And keep in mind, Israel, everything's being documented. Everything's being recorded. Me and my wife last night, she woke up like, I think I was on a cherry last night. I was like, I think I was too. You know what I'm saying? It's so much going on that we really don't understand, that it's best just to do the right thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's best not to get caught slipping. You know what I mean? Because our power has it's written in Judith, you know what I mean? He can take us out. He can take our enemies out. He can do whatever he wants. You know, knowing we serve a power that's watching over us extremely close, like the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Tread lightly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Don't mind walking on eggshells. You know what I mean? Especially now. I would have said that a year ago, but now I'm saying especially now, because a year ago, India and Pakistan weren't about to go to war. One of them could drop a nuke. I don't know if they're stable enough to have nuclear weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to be racist or anything, but I'm saying them Arabs is wild. You know what I'm saying? And Elam is gone. He's gone with the wind too. You know, I've seen a video where they were at a public pool. Tariq Nasheed says a public pool. I don't know if it was. You see that? That thing is disgusting. Yeah. It looked like dirt water. And they're in there like it's a public pool. They're just walking around, and somebody filmed that. Whoever filmed that had to know how dirty it was. He had to. You know what I'm saying? But that's Elam. And then they have the nerve to call Eve a nigger over and over again while she was in the car. You seen that video? Yeah, nigga. She's like, say it again. She said it again. So Elam could get bombed back to the Stone Age. I'm cool with that. You know? Not missing anything. You know, like, oh man, the Elamites aren't here no more. Mm-hmm. What do they bring to the table? Mm-hmm. What have they done for humanity?
Right.
You know what I mean? Same thing with Ishmael. What have they done? Nothing. When we look at the laundry list of inventions that our ancestors put together, continue to put together, you know what I mean? Garment makers, you know, just everything under the sun, we have the ability to be great at. Them, not so much. So who needs them? You know what I mean? We're going to pray to the Most High that he destroys these people sooner than later. Let's bring out what you got out.
Con, this is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 14 and verse 13. Everybody have it? Please say Con.
Con,
verse 13. Now, therefore, set thy house in order and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption.
So we have things we got to do. We got to set our house in order. Set things right. If things are going wrong, bring them back to a level of normalcy, some type of balance. You know what I mean? We need balance in this whole thing, because if you get too high, then you expect to be there all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Every day can be, well, it can, but you know, like a plane crash from the Most High knocking these planes out the sky, and we all, oh, praise the Most High. You know what I mean? And maybe it'd be one of these what they call quote unquote elite devils on there.
Right.
You know what I mean? That the ones that usually call the hit, now they're getting hit by the Most High. But even when it's a downtime of, you know, things aren't going, you know, the way we expect them to go, we still have to have balance. Don't get too low. You know, this is a terrible place. You know what I'm saying? Once you know the history, then like it says, you know, the more wisdom you get, the more upset you can get. Obviously, you know, not paraphrasing. So matter of fact, let's get that. Let's get Ecclesiastes.
Mm-hmm.
7 verse 7.
Come on. Khan, this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7. When everybody has it, please say Khan.
Con.
Verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart.
Con. So you can, seeing these things and being aware of all the stuff that happened to our ancestors and then what continue to happen to us. We think about that brother, you can look deeper into that. You know what I mean? The brother knew the people that were there to lynch him.
Right.
Let's fast forward now. We probably know the people that are going to be at our front doors. Like, hey, how you doing?
Right.
How was your weekend? Da, da, da. He has a list with your name on it. You know what I mean? This uppity nigga. Look at him. Always coming to work, always smiling. Or always, he's not as depressed and anxious as I am.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's almost like he knows something I don't know. I thought Trump was going to make America great again. Now trillions of dollars came out the stock market and everything's going up. The price of everything's going up. We're about to go to war with Iran. We're about to go to war with China. We're, India and Pakistan. Everything's falling apart. I thought this was supposed to be a president that's going to end wars and all this money. Said you're going to have so much money, you'll not know what to do with it.
Right.
Now look, there's going to be shelves empty. It's going to be empty shelves in Walmart and Costco's and all these other places.
Khan, the Salakia, the pharmacies, the medications, your things that you need on your everyday basis is getting low.
Wow.
Yeah.
And think about that.
Yeah.
Come from China.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Your local pharmacy is going to be closed because it's happening now.
Con. And also to add on to that, I keep saying China, he put tariffs on everybody.
Yeah.
He put tariffs on African countries, the EU.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's unless he has a basement that has a whole bunch of stuff that can feed how many people are in there? 300 million people.
Mm-hmm.
We've got reserves. We're fine. They don't have anything. He had this, one of the scariest things, right? I forget who said this, but it's not, people look at the Illuminati and Trilateral Commission, all these places and all these secret societies, like they're scary. They have things in control.
Mm-hmm.
But the scary thing is they don't have anything in control. They are winging it. They have no idea what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's not like, I was president. Even though he was president before, he did a terrible job. Everything went up. Prices were astronomical. Everybody was trying to get him out of there, other than his idiot MAGA people, because they thrive off racism.
Right.
All you got to do is say, I don't like Negroes, and you're going to be president of the United States. Mm-hmm. It's called the Southern Strategy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So he fired everybody. He brought people in like, oh, man, this guy right here, this general right here, he's a great guy, General Flynn, stand-up guy. Within a couple months, like he's a terrible person, he's stupid, he's tweeting this at 3:00 in the morning, and I'm going to fire him. You know what I mean? He did a terrible job then. He's doing a terrible job now. He brought in a bunch of racists that have no idea what's going on. Because when it comes down to it, Esau's dumb. You know what I mean? Let's just call it what it is.
Right.
Esau's an idiot. Why do I say that? Because what they have got them where they're at. He went to University of Penn. There is no way in the world you can listen to him talk and say he went to an Ivy League school and, he got A's on his reports, you know what I mean? He wrote his dissertation and thesis and all this other stuff. He didn't do none of that.
Right.
Just like Aunt Becky and all those other people that got caught. They pay for that. You know what I mean? Here's $100,000 for the new gym. Here's $10,000. I see you guys need a leaky roof. Here's $10,000. And by the way, my son's about to apply. They know what that means. You know what I mean? So it's eye-opening to, I guess, some people when you realize that they don't know what's going on. You know? So that's a good thing, because the Most High is able to manipulate them any way possible. You know what I mean? He hardens Pharaoh's heart.
Right.
You know what I mean? He has no idea that the things that are happening to him is how spiritual it is. You know what I'm saying? But with that, we got to keep in mind, we got to get ourselves in line, because we don't want to have any problem with the Most High. You see what that does. You know what I mean? The guy that we talked about today, they burned him, and half of his head they put it on a stake, like Nicanor. You know what I mean? And I'm sure left it there. Took pictures and then made postcards. You know, that's what happens when we disobey God. When we eat pork, that's what happens.
Right.
When we have shrimp, crab, and lobster, that's what happens. Somebody could light us on fire, right? And keep the fire going all day while the person's still, still alive, I'm assuming. You know what I mean? That's who the Most High, put on us. But of course, they messed up. They just kept going. They didn't stop. They haven't stopped. So with that in mind, they're going to get paid back. So while that happens, we got to stay focused. Let's go to Revelation 16 and 15. We got to stay focused. We got to keep in mind that this upcoming destruction, Most High willing, because it says in 2nd Ezra 2:27, my servant's going to eat. You know what I mean? You want to be a part of that number going into Jacob's trouble, rather than, licking up a puddle from outside, fighting the cat to get to the puddle. All right. Let's bring that out. Revelation 16 and 15.
Con, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 16 and verse 15. And everybody have it, please say con.
Con.
Verse 15. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his commandments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame.
Garments. All right. So we have to, understand that the Most High he's coming like a thief in the night. Okay. We don't know when he's coming. I was just watching with Shawapar. You know what I mean? the first thing that was put on, the first video that was put on HY Philly's YouTube page. And he was mentioning Donald Trump starting World War III. And it got so close because at that time, right, you had Iran, he bombed Soleimani, and Iran said, okay, we could just go to war. So they bombed a base where men got traumatic brain injuries. And then it was up to Donald Trump to continue on.
Right.
He didn't. Not because, for one reason is that they were going to destroy the U.S. bases. They could still destroy U.S. bases. Their missile game is top notch over there in Iran. And Donald Trump at the time couldn't even pick Iran out on a map. But his generals and stuff was like, yo, let's not mess with these dudes, man. They ain't no fly-by-night country. They've been an empire, So it kind of died down. Donald Trump came out there. He was talking to everybody. I was waiting. I'm like, yeah, say it. Just say it. We're going to raid naval bases over there, the Navy and Air Force, and we're going to bomb them back to the Stone Age, right? He says, all right, we're going to let up. Pretty much. He copped a plea. You know what I mean? Granted, I was disappointed, but this is, we got to develop patience. This is a patient walk. You know what I mean? Everything that we want is not going to happen on our time. It's going to happen on the Most High's time. But one thing we do got to keep in mind is that when our ancestors were being oppressed in ancient Egypt and added on, the Most High said, I heard the cries of them, of my people. You know what I mean? So he sent Moses and Aaron. So our cries and our prayers do help push us in that right direction. You know what I'm saying? But it's always going to be on the Most High's time. All right. So you never know when the thief is coming. Got to prepare, right?
Right.
And I was watching some video how Negroes prepare, right? They're like makeshift alarms, like putting a bunch of shoes by the door, so if somebody comes in, they're gonna trip over it. You know what I mean? Doing the front, the back. You know what I mean? Put a bunch of glasses on the window, so somebody comes through your window, it's smashed. We prepare for that. You know what I mean? We prepare for it because Jake will hop in your house while you sitting here like Ezel. So I saw open window and said, F it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But our people are not preparing for the return of Hamashiach Yahushua.
Right.
One reason, because the Catholic Church and Christian Church believe that he's coming with hugs and handshakes.
Right.
But when you read the scriptures, he said, if you're not listening to him, I'm gonna chop your head off.
Right.
That is two large extremes. You know what I mean? And all praise to the Most High. The cats are fighting. So all praise to the Most High.
Going down
I know they're probably fighting over that puddle.
Right. Fighting over that puddle.
Say, that's my puddle, man. Right. I need that. You know what I'm saying? and another thing that happened, the Most High took down the Pope. After 3 days after our Passover was over, the Most High took down the Pope, man. You know what I mean? And I say that with emphasis because that means right now there's a gap in the power. You know what I mean? Even though we know the Pope was totally off, right? He's not the liaison between the Most High and man on earth, right? But people thought he was.
Salaki, they thought he was going to rise on that third day.
Oh, yeah,
that's
right.
What it was. They thought he was going to rise on that third day.
He'll be back.
He'll be fine.
Nah, they had a funeral today, right?
Yep.
Yeah, all the dignitaries. Was it today or yesterday? I'm not sure.
It was yesterday.
Yesterday, all the dignitaries and world leaders show up, rubbing elbows to see the Pope off. He didn't rise. Last time I checked, this is behind about to go in the dirt. All praise to the Most High. So I see that along with everything else happening, along with the economic destruction, along with the wars and rumors of wars, along with the earthquakes, everything else, and the Pope dying, the Most High is going to elevate somebody. He's going to elevate some group of people. And we're the last to get elevated. You know what I mean? The Muslims had their time. Unfortunately, like somebody like Malcolm X, he even knew he was an Israelite, but he was still into that Islam. Most High took him, right? The Christians with Martin Luther King, they had their time. It's going to be our time,
right?
You know what I mean? So just prepare yourself for it, okay? Let's go to 1 Peter 3:15. Prepare yourself for the time of CNN hitting you up and saying, we need an exclusive interview. We'll give you $100,000 wired to your account. Just be prepared for people wanting to know what this is about. I saw something the other day. I think it was yesterday, actually. It was an interview with like Jacques Vaclaise or something. This guy, he's a ufologist, right? So he was saying how he was bringing up the fact, right, that these chariots, when they see them, we see them like, oh man, all praise the Most High, we excited and everything like that. Everybody don't get that. Some people get traumatic brain injuries. Some people get burns through their body. You know what I mean? The one guy, I don't know if you've seen, he had a grid on his body of burns. And they're like, where'd you get that from? He's like, I saw a UFO. They couldn't like deny it because, well, what else could it be? But he got sick after that.
Mm.
And then every couple minutes, not a couple minutes, every so often, the burns will come back. How did burns leave and then come back? You know what I mean? It was like a medical miracle for the Israelites, because this is happening to Esau. So he's bringing this out now, which is something that if you're into UFOs, you heard the stories or whatever, but people that have no idea that, I just heard that they exist. Now they're realizing that they're bringing the pain. When Esau meets the chariots, it could be the worst time of his life.
Oh.
You know what I mean? We talked about that before with the women, those two women and the boy in Texas, and they saw the chariot, they felt the heat, and they all end up getting like cancer and dying within a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So us bringing it out about the chariots, about the so-called UFOs, people going to want to know what is really transpiring and taking place. So let's bring that out. 1 Peter 3 and 15.
Khan, this is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 15. Everybody have it. Please say Khan.
Khan,
verse 15. But sanctify Yahweh thy power in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear.
Khan, so have an answer ready. You know what I mean? And what is preparation? Preparation in this aspect is studying, knowing your scriptures, knowing where we at, the prophecies, so forth and so on. Always ready to give an answer. Let's get Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 8. And me, I like to. People have their, they have their answer. They season it with salt, you know what I mean, or pepper, however they want to, you know what I mean, spice it up. Give Esau hell, you know what I mean. I like to talk to Esau, you know what I mean. How you doing? You good? All right, yeah. See what's going on with Trump, you know what I mean, and bring it out of them, like yeah, they're safe. It's a safe conversation, but it always ends in the same thing. You're going into slavery. The Most High God's going to destroy your family, and then you. Hopefully in that order, so you can feel the pain that we felt these hundreds of years, these centuries, living under your rule.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So however you give it to them, make sure they get this work.
Khan.
All right? You bring it out, Ken.
Khan, this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 8. When everybody has it, please say Khan. Khan, verse 8. He shall show forth that which he hath learned, and shall glory in the law of the covenant of the Lord.
Khan. So when you don't want to take something you learn and put it underneath, or like light a candle and put it underneath the bed. Right. You know what I mean? You don't want to hide your light. Okay. And that's a problem we have in Israel, that, brothers can know something and feel empowered that you're the only person that knows it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? We're supposed to be like Voltron. You know what I mean? Share information. Be able to depend on a brother, lean on a brother. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know how to do this? You know how to do that? Okay, I don't. You help me? You teach me with this? I could teach you with that. You know what I mean? So we just build ourselves up. But we get that mentality, like if I tell you everything that I know, you won't need me anymore.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But at the same time, that's a bonus. That means you're making leaders. You know what I'm saying? You're building up brothers through the spirit and through the knowledge, whether it just be in the scriptures or outside. You know what I mean? Should be both. You know what I mean? But if you know this deep breakdown, bring it to the fold. Of course, if it's like Jesus wore Nikes, I got a 7-part series on that. I don't think that's important. You know what I mean? But I think for Israel to grow and evolve further, we got to be willing to help each other out more.
Right.
You know what I mean? We can't be, so into ourselves that, like that's a positive thing. If I know this, I'm getting into the kingdom of heaven. I'm not telling anybody, right? That's not what the scripture says. It says he should show forth that which he had learned.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You learn stuff, and it starts off talking about the prophecies and everything. You know, the dark sayings. You know something, bring it out. Because we don't know it all. I don't care who you are. You know what I'm saying? Unless you Hamashiach Yahushua,
Right.
who doesn't even know when he's coming back. So even he doesn't know it all. So that's humbling in itself. Only person that knows everything is the Most High.
Right.
All right. Let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. And life is a learning process. It's a lifelong learning process. Have a seat. So let's continue to further and better ourselves in this process together. You know what I mean? And of course, you can't just sit back and depend on everybody else to teach you everything. Right. You got the book. You know what I mean? You got the book. And you got the Most High God.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you're on the right path, God will give you, clarification on some things. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, you say, dreams. I had a dream about this. I had a dream about that. Now, if the dream says you're Hamashiach Yahushua, it's probably not the dream you want. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
The dream says you can fly now. You don't want to go up to the roof and try it out. You know what I mean? Sit on the ground and see if you can do it from the floor. You know what I mean? But getting into that realm, getting into that mind state of you got the Most High on your side and you're doing the right thing, he will give you clarification on things. And then share it with your brothers. I think this means that. What do you think? Go through the scriptures, go through the prophecies. You know what I mean? But for us somebody was telling me something like, I don't think Christ is coming back. I think we're Christ. And once we wake up, we do this. We're so messed up right now. Even right now, like
you said, we're Christ.
Yeah,
that's what you said.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Kind of like Christ says, you'll be able to do what I've done. But he's kind of saying that there is no Christ, though. You know what I'm saying? So we're it. There was a Christ 2,000 years ago, but now we're the Christ that's coming back. I'm like, nah, that's not going to work, man. We're so messed up. You know what I mean? We like to see each other hurt. Brother will put up something about another brother, a camp leader, and it'll get 50,000 views. And then have a sit down lesson, 20 people show up.
Right.
So we love that downfall. Like to see a great man fall, to see the negativity. We love that the drama. We are drama queens, man. Even the men, unfortunately. Well, drama, I won't say drama queen, drama king, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Top dramas.
Vanity.
Time. That's unfortunate. So just that alone lets you know that we're not on no Christ-like type time. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, I believe, fortunately, but unfortunately, however you look at it, it's going to take a butt whooping to really get us in order.
Right.
It might feel bad while it's going down, but I bet you're not going to disrespect your brother and your sister publicly, the internet. There's so many major wars about to occur right now. I can't even think of nothing else. Oh man, Ty was gauntlet, man. Look at that. Man, I wish I had something like that. Let me do a 20, write a Facebook post about that. How jealous I am of this brother's garment. You know what I mean? And right now, Pakistan and India are shooting at each other.
Mm-hmm.
That mentality is gone. It's gone with the wind.
Or wish bad on your brother.
What's that?
Or wish bad on your brother. Time.
Unfortunate state of events. State of affairs, Lakia. Let's bring that out, 2 Timothy.
Khan, this is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 1 and verse 7. Everybody have it? Please say Khan.
Khan,
verse 7. For Yahweh have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind.
Khan. So the spirit of fear, we got to get rid of that.
Khan.
You know what I mean? Oh, Trump can do this to us. Trump can do that. Trump can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is being so, he's being so much controlled at this point. It's unbelievable. You know what I mean? God is controlling what Donald Trump is doing. He's literally bringing down America to his knees. And the only thing America really has is what? Is military and his money.
Mm-hmm.
The military is not respected anymore, and the money's drying up. Stock market's collapsing. Inflation's sky high. Even though they're saying it's down, I can't tell. As soon as I come to the grocery store, I'm still spending hundreds of dollars, and I'm like, what did I even buy?
One bag,
right? Stuck. That is the American way at this point. At one point in time, you walk in the store with a nickel, you get anything you want. You know what I mean? And it'll give you some change. That ain't happening no more. This place is collapsing, and the Most High is doing it. So, do we fear Trump and go into a supermax prison, or do we fear the person that's running Trump and that has his hand on him? You know, you could argue, of course, Satan obviously is in the midst of Donald Trump.
Right.
But who's Satan's boss?
You
know what I mean? Let's just go to the top. You know, don't be scared of no minions. Mm-hmm. Elon Musk, all it took is a couple months, a couple Molotov cocktails on his Tesla vehicles and dealerships, and he's humbled down. He's like, I don't think government is for me. I'm going to stick to making money and some satellites. That's a smart move. Mm-hmm. God got him out of here, man. You know? So there's no fear when it comes to us. Whoever the next person is, the next Edomite tough guy, God will get him out of here as long as we follow what he says. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy 6 and verse 23. And Esau is just he's so what's the word? Transparent. He is diabolically transparent. They passed on that young man, Deion Sanders' son, right? All these teams. You know what I mean? And they need a quarterback.
Right.
They need somebody that he can move, he can throw. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I'll be honest, I haven't been watching college football because it comes on Saturdays. I used to always watch it, but you know what I mean? I can't do my pleasure on, the Sabbath, but I seen highlights of him, you know what I mean? Colorado, and how fast he's moving, and he
could throw.
He could throw, right? Mm-hmm. So why would you pass off on that? Because it's not always about winning with Esau. It's not always about money with Esau. It's about keeping us down.
Right.
You know what I mean? They have all Edomite owners except for, I think, Elam.
For the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy, right?
Yeah.
So they get together. They have, we're having meetings and Zoom meetings and stuff like that. Nobody pick them. All right. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? This is slave ownership. Mm-hmm. And I started noticing with people responding like, yo, we need to get our own league. We don't need these people. And then you see the Edomites that I ain't gonna say think you cool with, right?
Mhm.
But I got a page or whatever where I talk about a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? So Esau, they'll follow you and everything like that, especially they think you're into whatever they're thinking about. But there's one guy commented, he talks always about UFOs and stuff, right? He commented like, oh, so I guess the white man's bad now, LOL, and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, I know he's white. You don't see his picture or anything like that. But I know he's an Edomite. But it reminds me of the guy that was about to get lynched, and he started seeing familiar faces. Like, I go to church with you. I go to your store every day. Yep. All it does, and Zabak does it the best. Elder Zabak does it the best. He be like talking to an Edomite like, you're racist. It's like, no, I'm not. 10 minutes into it, not even 10 minutes, he's like, he pulls it out. I'm like, kiss Danny, niggers. And he's like, see, there he is. Yep. There it is. There's that devil. And he sit there like, yeah, you did get me. You got me. You got me. And it don't take much to pull it out of him. This is a draft. He hasn't played one snap yet. And we can obviously see that this man is being publicly lynched. You know what I mean? Just like Kaepernick. You know what I mean? He's like, nah, that's a harsh statement. People were lynched, they killed, they died, and this, that, and the third. But when you can take somebody and kill them while they're alive, do you know what I mean? You put all this, you put everything into being a football player and making money off football, and you have a guaranteed $20 million, $30 million if you get signed in the first round. They said, take that $20 million out. You know what I mean? Nobody picked him up. The Browns picked him up. They showed the front office or whatever. You see that? When they're clapping like, what are they going to do to him? You know what I'm saying? Is it going to, all right, you're going to be the offensive lineman right now. I know you're the quarterback, but you're going to be the offensive lineman.
You be a tight end.
Yeah. And you the biggest, strongest linebacker, he's going to do a wheel route, light him up. You know what I mean? They could do stuff like that. Esau has done this. I'm sure you are very aware, you know what I mean, playing football, that these coaches, organizations are very racist. You know what I mean? And at their own detriment, because he could get you a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? He can get you to where you want to be. Your Edomite quarterback is trash, and he needs to be replaced, but they won't do it. Very self-defeating. If the plan was to make playoffs and Super Bowls and get the best player on the team, Esau has never done that.
But Salaki, he may have a chance because he got picked in the 144th pick.
Really?
In the 5th round.
Really?
It's the 5th. The Cleveland Browns picked the 5th round at the 144th spot.
God.
Yeah. Can't make this up.
God ain't playing. The Most High is serious. And guess who saw that? God. God, you see how these people still treat my people after our 400 years is up?
Yep.
Got something for them. You know what I mean? And who knows? As far as what America's doing with China and Iran and all that, they can cause a terror attack at one of them stadiums. You know what I mean? Yep. Not saying it's going to happen, but the way they moving, it's definitely a possibility. And hopefully Jake won't be there. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't afford them damn tickets anyway.
Yeah, we found a way.
Yeah, no.
We'll find a way. Jake, we'll find a way.
Shoot, we'll be watching it from the rafters, like they shooting down there.
Binoculars and everything.
Con. All right, let's bring that out. Deuteronomy 6:23.
Con, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6 and verse 23. When everybody has it, please say con.
Con,
verse 23. And he brought us out from thence, that he might bring us in, to give us the land which he swore unto our fathers.
came out of captivity to come into the land flowing with milk and honey.
Gone.
Go ahead.
Verse 24. And the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear the Lord our God, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive, as it is at this day.
All right. So we got to fear God. You know what I'm saying? We're not fearing man. Man, they all right. You know what I'm saying? What can he do to you? And all right, so you don't get picked in the first round. You know what I'm saying? Still in the league. Dad was still in the NFL. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, you know, most high willing, he's not going to miss any meals because of that. But as far as advertisers goes, they're probably not going to touch him.
But Salakia, I mean, he walks in the draft day with $3 million worth of jewelry on. He coming in like his pops back in the 90s, early, you know. He come in with $3 million on his neck. He should be good.
Yeah, Khan.
You know?
And I think he'll be fine with you know, his athleticism, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that hate that's now built up for each team that he plays.
All right.
He knows, oh, hold on, that was first round pick, the 20th position, and I'm playing the Eagles. I'm playing Dallas. I'm playing.
Right.
He's gonna
chip
destroy
on his
him.
shoulder.
Yeah,
Chip on his shoulder.
all praises, you know. So what it comes down to, man, is fearing God, you know, and not worrying about what man can do to you. At the time, it looks rough, man. He might not ever get drafted, and this is terrible. This and the third, but God's like, I got you.
Right.
144th pick.
Yep.
You already know what it is, right?
Rather be drafted by your house.
Gone.
You know?
Yeah, you won't be here anyway.
Right.
All right, let's go to Matthew 25 and 1. Because, of course, we're in a time period, we're all here, right? The Most High gathers all his people. You know, we're in America. We're going through it. Situations transpire where it's like, you know, what's going to happen next?
Right.
But there's some people that use wisdom and realize that there's going to be a day where all this is going to go away. And some people think they can keep going on forever. Mm-hmm. And this is really what the scriptures are talking about. Let's bring that out.
Khan, this is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 25, starting at verse 1. Everybody have it? Please say Khan.
Khan.
Verse 1. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, Salakia, 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom.
Go ahead.
And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish.
So you got half wise and half foolish.
Right.
What made them wise and what made them foolish? Let's continue on.
They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them.
Go ahead.
But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps.
Mm-hmm. So the wise are preparing themselves. They know that this day is coming. They know that eventually things are going to change. The foolish are like, man, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let's go to a draft party. Even though today's the new moon. You know what I mean? Hey, let's go to the club Friday night, even though it was the Sabbath. I got time, man. You know what I mean? The race wars ain't pop up yet. Well, okay. I mean, you know, Euphrates River's drying up. Okay, but it ain't completely dry, right? We good. We got time. You know what I mean? Trump is negotiating with Iran, so it's not World War III yet. I have time. Okay, go ahead to verse 5.
Khan, verse 5. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept.
Khan, so the bridegroom's taking his time. We're on God's time.
Right.
We're on the Most High's time. He's going to send his son back when he wants to send his son back. Everybody in this room would love for him to send his son back tonight.
All right.
You know, but we are on the Most High's time. Okay. And while it took, you know, while the time was ticking away, everybody went to sleep. You know what I mean? But some people prepared. You know what I mean? Some people were ready for this time period.
Right.
When those trumpets are blown, they're like, I did everything in my power. I'm feeling good about it. I repent daily. Let's get on the chariots. I made my election sure. You know what I mean? And some people were like,
Mm-hmm.
man, just give me one more day to get it together. Let me repent now. It's too late by now.
It's always tomorrow.
Con. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And at midnight there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him.
Con. So of course it's at midnight, right? So they're coming like a thief in the night. And I think about that a lot, right? You know, because it doesn't necessarily have to be at night, right? It could be during the day. It could be, you know, it's just a figure of speech. You know what I'm saying? It'll come when you least expect it. But, you know, reading and watching videos about India and what's going on with Pakistan, they be going to war while we be asleep.
Right.
I was up at like 1, 2 o'clock yesterday. I was like, are they shooting at each other? Shouldn't they be asleep right now? Man, it's broad daylight outside, you know, probably at that time. You know what I mean? So, you know, like you say, it's always tomorrow. Tomorrow. It might not make it. You know what I mean? It might be 3 o'clock in the morning and Pakistan nukes India. And since India has a pact with Russia, they nuke Pakistan. And then I don't know if America's cool with Pakistan, but either way, other countries jump in it, and now we have a World War III implications. And maybe Iran. Iran's a major force in that region, so they could possibly jump on somebody's side. And then here comes America with their B-52 bombers that are at Diego Garcia base. And then China says, hold up, man, we have a 25-year pact with Iran. So you cannot bomb their infrastructure because it's our infrastructure. So now we're going to bomb you. And you're just waking up like 4 o'clock in the morning, like, what happened? And it'll be 50 nuclear missiles on their way. All right. So we have to all prepare ourselves. Let's continue on. Verse 7.
Verse 7. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps.
Go ahead.
And the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are going out.
So they're like, yo, we need help. Of course you do. But when it was time to get that help, you weren't available.
Right.
You weren't on the classes. You weren't going to camps. You weren't going to the feast days. You weren't reading your scriptures.
Right.
You weren't following the law, statutes, commandments. You know, it was an excuse for everything. And now where you at? You trying to, is Elder Zabak there? Elder Zabak, can you say a prayer for me? I know the trumpet just got blown and I've been messing up, but you don't have the power to do that at that point. It's you got to seek out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
Right.
The Most High has been watching you, sending the angels over you, giving you signs, giving you wonders, giving you amazing things to see and witness in these last days, and you just disregard it.
Salaki, I say it all the time. They get the notifications on the phone.
Yeah.
Earthquakes, all this stuff is on these smartphones, so-called smartphones and iPhones. They see it, King. They don't want to hearken.
Yeah, all right, we'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
So all you want to do is play.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
They see it.
All right, where we at? Verse 9? 9, yeah.
Verse 9. But the wise answered, saying, not so lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves.
Yeah, man. He said, look, my bad, homie. You're going to have to get your own. This ain't going to work. This ain't enough oil for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Verse 10. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut.
You know what I mean? Just like Noah, you know, the Most High shut the door. You know, he's like, you're not ready. You're not gonna you know, make it into the kingdom of heaven. You gotta sit there with the other foolish people. You know better though. You know, Esau has no chance of salvation. He's not going to make it anywhere. He's going to make it into the plantation.
Right.
Salvation for the plantation.
Right.
So he'll do everything in his power to bring you down. Eat this Baconator, let's party on Friday. Here, you get paid on Friday, so
Right.
you know the clubs are open on Friday. Go ahead, have fun. You know what I mean? He'll do everything in his power to bring you away from God. And the minute you start believing his lies, is the minute you become foolish. All right. Where we at? Verse 11.
Con. Verse 11. Afterward came also the other virgins and saying, Lord, Lord, open to us.
Go ahead.
But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not.
That has to be the scariest thing ever. That's worse than any Jason, you know what I mean? Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, whatever.
Right,
you know what I mean? So I don't even know you. Who are you? That's bad. All right. Verse 13.
Verse 13. Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh.
That's why we prepare.
Right.
That's why we prepare. We have no idea when this is going to happen. We prepare. You know what I mean? And going through the pain of patience and of saying the sky's going to get cracked open. There's going to be so-called UFOs coming to save us and all this other stuff. And we're like minutes away from being 302'd and thrown in prisons and all that stuff, right? But when it does happen, and it will happen, when it does happen, the look on Esau, the heathens, and the 2/3 face, like damn, like Wisdom of Solomon 5th chapter.
Right.
You know?
Right.
They were right. They were serious. You know what I mean? That's gonna be a reality. Let's go to Matthew. Stay in Matthew, chapter 7, and verse 21. One of the most scariest things on the face of the planet are these scriptures coming up. This is rough. And I'm looking at oh man, remember that, man? We was out there back in 2020 when everybody had COVID and we did this and we did that. That don't mean nothing unless you keep this thing going in the right direction.
Right.
You know? Because if you hear this, that has to be a screech to your ears, man. Let's bring that out.
This is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 7 and verse 21. When everybody has it, please say Con. Verse 21. Not every one that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven.
Christianity's scared to death of this one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, I said, Lord is my personal, Jesus Christ is my personal Lord and Savior. You made it to the kingdom of heaven. Good job. Next. You know what I mean? Like, go down the line. All you got to do is say that. You do nothing with your life. You bear no fruit. You follow no laws, statutes, and commandments. But you think you're getting into the kingdom of heaven. Most of our God says it's not going to happen that way.
You say Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Jesus, Jesus 3 times.
That changes everything.
Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. 3 times. That's it.
You ain't got. Don't say Lord, Lord.
Right.
Say Jesus 3 times.
Yeah. Jesus, 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 Jesus.
Like, what scripture is that? Listen, man. Look. That's your interpretation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I read my Bible.
Christians is something else.
Yeah.
Jesus, 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 Jesus. I'm in. I'm good.
It's good. I've been a demon their whole life.
Right.
You know, talking about people going to church. Look at this sister.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What she got on. Look at this brother. What he got on. Look at it. You know what? You know, such and such, such and such. Just talking about people and expecting that, like, the guy's not listening to you. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring that out, verse 22.
Verse 22. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works.
I did all these things, all these beautiful things. What verse 23 say?
Verse 23. And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity.
That's rough. I don't even know you. But I said your name. Remember 2020, that was me out there. None of that matters, man. You know what I mean? All that stuff's gonna be forgotten if you start going off. Okay. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be used in that Mine, you know what I mean? Like I did the work of God, and then he could just cash me away like that because I start messing up. Nah. I'd rather continue on, you know what I'm saying? And you know, and have the Most High use me in a positive way
Right.
to continue this work, continue to go further. You know what I'm saying? But use me as an example, like Lot's wife. That's a bad joint. You know, death shouldn't be scary, especially in our walk, because we understand that it's not the end. You know what I mean? But dying in your sin, that's something totally different. All right. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 3. But he does say, you know what I mean? If he starts a good work with you, he's going to keep it going.
All right.
You know? But we got to keep it going. We got to do the right thing. You know? With this place collapsing as it is, at the speed that it's collapsing, you're not missing nothing. There's nothing in this world worth missing that trip on the chariot and then sip wine with Yahweh Bashem Yahushua.
Con.
You know what I mean? Let's bring that out in Proverbs 22, verse 3.
Con. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 3. When everybody has it, please say con.
Con.
Con. Verse 3. A prudent man forseeketh the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished.
Con. Let's go to the GNT
Con.
with that one. So you see something coming. Somebody tells you, you be walking down a dark alley. Somebody walking by and say, yo, don't go down there. Somebody with a machete, he's just chopping people up. A foolish person be like, man, I'll be all right. You know what I mean? But if somebody that has, you know, some level of discernment be like, I don't think I want to get chopped up by a machete today. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the guy could be running. You could now using discernment is important because the person could be, you know, all calm and be like, yeah, just come over here, you know, walk over here and I got you. You know what I'm saying? He could be setting you up. But if you are using discernment, you're prudent, you're like, that guy's breathing heavy and he has a cut on his arm, like, yo, don't go over there, man. I just ran from somebody with a machete, you know? And, you know, somebody that has, you know, a sense of, what's it called? Like, you know, you want to continue on with your life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We'll think twice about going down that dark alley. All right, let's bring that out in GNT.
Con, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 3 in the GNT. And it reads, sensible people will see trouble coming and avoid it, but an unthinking person will walk right into it and regret it later.
Then regret it later.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, what does it say? A what person? A sensible person?
Con, sensible people. Con.
Sensible people like, all right, this is not going to end good with Donald Trump. He's not going to leave office, right? We can all understand that. He said he's not going to leave. He's like, man, I'm going to see about what we get with a third term. Now he says, I'm going to see what can I do about sending our undesirables to El Salvador. But then he says the people that he's trying to get people that haven't committed a crime to go to El Salvador.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who do you think he's talking about? Is it the white supremacists that haven't done anything wrong yet? Or is it them daggone black supremacists that nobody likes?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That follow the law, statutes, commandments. Well, God likes us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Follows the law, statutes, commandments. So they don't have arrest records.
Right.
They're not out there selling drugs. They're not out there being a lady heroin. You know what I'm saying? Moving dope on the corner or sticking people up and robbing banks. So how can we get these people? I know. Let's go in front of the court and see what can be done. You know, because if you look at the past presidents with the Patriot Act and NDAA, they have laws now that you can detain people, take their property, take whatever you want from them in war and in peacetime.
Seized.
Yes.
Yep. Seize it.
So he's looking at that. He's like, oh, we got it on the books. So let's how about we use this and we want to move in that direction. Because don't forget, I know I bring it up a lot, but it's important. Jeff Sessions, during the Trump administration's first administration, it came out that the FBI was watching the Black Hebrew Israelites.
Right. Right.
We looking like, what the hell do we do?
Right.
That the FBI is watching us. So now that he's president again, you think he likes us now?
Mm-hmm.
Think we're decent people?
And Salakia, he said those agitators, like the elder always says, he's going after the agitators, especially from January 6th. Now, not the million plus 2 million, 3 million that's all over the place jumping, but the 15 that's down there.
Yeah, it's the freedom fighters.
Right, the freedom fighters. You worry about the 15, those agitators.
So yeah, we're but definitely behind enemy lines.
Right.
So but we gotta be prudent, we gotta be sensible, we gotta make the right decisions. We gotta not fall into the traps. And they had plenty of traps.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They had, you see that with Tupac, plenty of traps. He goes outside and it's a cop beating somebody up. They knew he was a Black Panther. He knew he was going to react. You know, so they made those scenes play out in front of them. You know what I mean? So keep in mind, as much as things change, the more they stay the same.
Right.
All right. Let's go to Sirach 39. So be sensible, be prudent. Don't fall for their traps.
Old rope of dope.
Yeah.
Banana in the tailpipe.
Time. And I know I said this before. I said it again, right? Watch out for them Israelites that when all this stuff's going on, they are posting, chatting, uploading videos and statuses talking about other Israelites using that division.
Yeah.
And they keep on doing it. You got, hold on a minute. Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't World War III popping off? Isn't innocent people getting sent down to El Salvador prisons?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you work for? You know what I'm saying? Be honest. Are you working for Satan? Is Satan using you like it's a spiritual thing? You don't even know what you're doing? Or are you literally on the payroll for the FBI? Either way, it's terrible. But when you see that, you got to distance yourself. You know what I mean? Because that's when Esau's good with a RICO charge. Remember Black Messiah?
John.
And this guy, he's like, he starts a fight and then he starts backing out of the thing. He's smiling like,
Yep.
got him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They want that RICO charge. Everybody's involved. That one person that works for the FBI allegedly robbed a bank in Minnesota. And since he's part of an organization, everybody goes down for that. It's a criminal enterprise. Keep your eye on that, man. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not sleeping until they figure out how to penetrate our forces. And we do have forces. Okay. Let's bring that out. Sirach. Oh, hold on. I didn't get there. 39 and verse 23. You can bring it out, though.
Khan, this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 23.
Khan,
verse 23. When everybody has it, please say Khan. Verse 23. As he have turned the waters into saltness, so shall the heathen inherit his wrath.
So they have they're gonna be turned into wormwood. They're gonna be turned into bitterness. All right. They're inheriting the wrath of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.
Right.
That's what they're getting. We don't get in the way of that. They are going to be the tears and the pain is going to be unbelievable because it's going to be worse than what we went through. And we saw what we went through today.
Mm-hmm.
At least a portion of it. It's going to be worse than that. So as the Most High gets ready to destroy these people, take a step back. Sometimes it's best just to do nothing. Continue to do what we're doing, meeting, reading scriptures, following the feast days and everything. But allowing this thing to play out. Okay, go ahead. Verse 24.
Verse 24. As his ways are plain unto the holy.
What does it say?
As his ways are plain unto the holy.
So they're plain to us.
Right.
We can see planes falling from the sky and has nothing to do with aviation problems and stuff like that. They're literally just stopping in the sky and falling.
Right.
You know, we have reports of that with the chariots in Iran.
Right.
As soon as it got close to a chariot, the electricity stops. There's plenty of reports when people are driving. It doesn't have to be an electrical car or anything like that. It could be a regular 1985 Pinto or whatever, crank up and everything. They'll just stop.
And Salakia, it's $1 million equipment.
Yes.
It's not cheap stuff.
No.
This ain't the aluminum and regular copper we talking about. This is $1 million worth of equipment that's supposed to be top notch. So what's happening?
That is a good question. What happened at the air base? I didn't even look that up. There's so much stuff going on.
Right.
The air base, it said an aircraft. So I don't know if it was a helicopter or a plane or a jet or whatever. But like you said, whatever it was, for it to be on that base, has to be millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it just dropped out of the sky to the point where they're not even talking about it because they know what's going on. So I'm talking about the higher ups.
Right.
For us, it's plain. This is what it said what happened. When things get bad, the Archangel Michael's going to show up and start knocking them out the sky. And he is literally knocking them out the sky. All praise to the Most High. Okay. Go ahead.
Verse 24. As his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked.
They don't know what's going on. They like, man, they're running around like a chicken with their head cut off. All right. Go ahead, verse 25.
Verse 25. For the good are good things created from the beginnings, so evil things for sinners.
So there's a lot of things are created for these people, you know. The good things of this earth, we're gonna start seeing parts of that. The terrible things, they're gonna start seeing all of that. All right. And all praise to the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, that we're able to see that and we know what's going on. All right. Anybody see the movie Sinners? You saw it? What do you think?
It's a must see.
Okay. You saw it too?
We gotta all go see it.
I want to see it again. That's how good it is.
Oh, okay.
A lot of symbolism.
It's a lot of symbolism.
Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Everybody, it's either you love it or you hate it.
No,
I haven't. No, I haven't seen it.
My mom's seen it.
Yeah, we all got to see it
Okay.
in IMAX because we haven't seen it in IMAX. So we got to see it in IMAX.
Man, we about to go tonight. We gonna see it though. Let's get the tickets and all that. I'm gonna see that.
It's good.
Somebody just told me now. I'm like 1 out of 10. He was like 10, bro. You gotta see it. Okay.
A lot of symbolism.
The water. All right.
By the time Esau show up, it's almost safe. By the time Esau shows up, it's symbolism.
Oh man. All right.
You be like, that's all I'm gonna say.
All right. Bet.
I want to go too deep in it.
Bet.
It's good.
Okay. Khan. The water.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna definitely check that out. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus, chapter 43. You ain't saying nothing but a word. I trust y'all. You know what I mean? Y'all said.
Trust me.
Bet.
It's good.
All right. 43 and verse 6.
Khan. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, chapter 43 and verse 6. And everybody has it. Please say Khan. Khan, verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world.
Khan. So the moon, you know, is a very interesting. I bring it up all the time, right? We only see one side of the moon. How mathematically precise do you have to be for all this time that we've been here? You only can see one part of the moon. You can't see the dark side of the moon.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just that alone is enough for, you know, your average person to think like, all right, something's up. It wasn't just like they say the moon is the Big Bang Theory. It just
Right.
happened to blow up off a piece of a rock that was never there to begin with. It blows up and becomes this perfect circle that is at a perfect distance that when you have an eclipse, it'll block out the entire sun. You know what I mean? And you only see one part of it. Very strange. Of course, we're in during the Passover time.
Mm-hmm.
We hit each other up. It's a blood moon. Look at the blood moon.
Leaving
Right?
Passover. Come.
Leaving the Passover, and then the next day we was at the camp. Right, there was another blood moon,
Mm-hmm.
and we looking at it, and then the Pope died 3 days after our closing. You know what I'm saying?
Come.
So, all praise down to Yahweh Shem Shai. These are signs and wonders, right? Keep reading verse 7.
Come, verse 7. From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreased in her perfection.
So that's why we celebrate the dark moon as the new moon. Some people celebrate the full moon as the new moon. I would just say make sure you celebrate it. You know what I mean? We'll figure it out when Yahushua gets here.
Right.
But can't do nothing. We're in Jerusalem. We got to sit back and watch TV. And nah, we ain't doing that. All right. Let's go to Psalm chapter 8. And that's just the laziness of Israel. Like, I don't feel like doing anything.
Right.
So I'm just not going to do anything. And hopefully God doesn't destroy me. I wouldn't take that bet.
Right.
You know what I mean? Anytime Yahushua is the death angel and killed every firstborn in Egypt, the cattle, the pharaoh, the person in the dungeon, all that, that's not somebody you want to like be a betting man with. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll see what he does. Like Trump right now and China. I think I got him right. I got him right where I want him. China's like, man, we will eat grass before we fall, before we cave to Donald Trump. You know what I mean? And they have ate grass. They had, they went through some harsh times over there in China. They're not far removed from that.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, shoot, we eat some rice, right? We go to the rice paddies, have some rice, and squid or whatever they got over there. You know what I mean? Some abominable thing in the sea. You know what I mean? But America's ain't like that.
Right.
America's like, yo, I need my Baconator, man. You know what I'm saying? I need my chicken salad. You know what I mean? America's so gone that, they really don't have any. There's no love for this country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's nothing here that I will die for this country. I'm killing myself ready to leave out this country. I'm
Right.
right. Where in Jamaica can we stay?
Mm-hmm.
Where? Okay. Venezuela? They got places in Venezuela?
Right.
I'm trying to get out this place. You know what I mean? So I don't think I'm gonna be signing up for anybody's war anytime soon. But I bet you if China opened up their they're not draft, but open up their offices for war,
Mm-hmm.
they probably have 1 billion people sign up. America, not so much. Even those MAGA hat wearing people, they're not showing up in no war. They talk all that good stuff, but once somebody else has a gun, that's something different.
Right.
They'll shoot Jake in a heartbeat, but when somebody else is trained and can do backflips with M16s and shoot, a dime 1,000 miles that way, they don't want that smoke.
Karate choppers.
Karate choppers. I've been eating rice for 10 years.
Daniel son.
One piece of rice every day.
Daniel son.
Daniel
Daniel son.
Right? They've been up, down, down. You know what I'm saying? Right? I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Ralph Macchio was like, "Am I done yet? Get back on there, Daniel son." Like, them Chinese people ain't no joke. It's like, oh, all right. Oh, right? Discipline. Mr. Miyagi was catching flies with his toothpicks. Chopsticks, yeah. And then, of course, there's Edomite, Edomites did it. So Ralph Macchio, Karate Kid, actually, I got it. He's like, whatever. Yeah, that's why Mr. Miyagi in his mind was like, that's not reality.
Mm-hmm.
In Okinawa, you couldn't do that. Hollywood, you can. You got it. Con. So let's get Psalm chapter 8, verse 3.
Con. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 8 and verse 3. When everybody has it, please say Con.
Con.
Con. Verse 3. When I consider thy heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars, which thou hast ordained.
Con. Ordain the moons and the stars, right? Go ahead.
What is man that thou art mindful of him, and the son of man that thou visitest
You
him?
know what I mean? Because David's trying to figure it out. Look at that. Moon and the stars, ordaining for feast days
Mhm.
and you know, the just the constellations of, you know what I mean? Just amazing things. How do you do that? And you're worried about us? Like, you think about us and you visit us? Wow, that's something that's mind blowing, you know? In verse 5.
Con. Verse 5. For thou hast made him a little lower than the angels, and has crowned him with glory and honor.
So we're a little lower than the angels. You know what I mean? We're the closest thing to God on the planet. Think about that.
Hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that's why the furthest thing from God hates you. You know what I mean? He's the closest thing to the devil. We're the closest thing to Most High God. Right?
Mhm.
Let's read that verse 6.
Con. Verse 6. Thou madest him to have dominion over the works of thy hands. Thou hast put all things under his feet.
Con. So we have dominion on the planet. That didn't change. You know what I'm saying? The Most High God has turned his face from us. So we had to go through captivities and go through the curses and stuff. But that's not saying we don't have dominion over the work of our hands. You know what I'm saying? Just like he says in Genesis, you have access to all this. You're much better than a sparrow. You know what I mean? You're better than the fish. You can eat the clean fish. You can fish and eat it. And you know what I mean? The cows, the oxen and all that.
Right.
You have dominion over her. Okay? Not Esau. Esau is temporary. His dominion right now is temporary because the Most High is bringing us to jealousy. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, him.
Mm-hmm.
See me sitting there like that's God's chosen people. Goofy, bunch of goofies.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The one tassel.
Yeah. Right. Smoking a kosher cigarette, as the elder always says. Oh, you got your kosher cigarette. Like, wait a minute, there's no such thing. You know what I mean? They got sit there with a dumb look on their face, like, wait a minute. I don't think they make kosher cigarettes, but you know what? They might. You know what? Because they make kosher pig. You remember that?
Yeah.
Kosher swine or something. Those people are unbelievably wicked.
Right.
But I wanted to talk about this because think about it, man. Humbly speaking, we are right there with the Most High and the angels. The Most High, Christ, the angels were a little bit lower than the angels. You know what I mean? And then when we get to where the Most High is going to bring us, we're going to judge the angels. So we're gonna take a what's it called when you when you're at work and you get a promotion? We're gonna get promoted, but it's not like you get a little $50 raise or something like that. Our raise is gonna come in the form of anything we want. All we gotta do is stay focused and follow these laws, statutes, commandments. Let's get Zephaniah 2 verse 1. We got to keep in mind that the Most High is not finished with us. We're all still here. We all woke up this morning. You know what I mean? It's all for a reason. So you can bring it out.
Khan, this is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1. When everybody has it, please say Khan. Khan, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Ye gather together, O nation not desired.
Khan. So we're the nation not desired. It
Right.
talks about that in Genesis 49th chapter. Gather together. So that's what we're doing now. We're going to gather together. We're reading scriptures. We're going to pray. We're going to eat, drink, and be merry. And we're going to talk about the destruction of our enemies.
Con.
That's going to be our topic of discussion. What are we going to say? We're going to talk about sinkholes, a couple earthquakes. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We would just let it,
Derailments.
derailments. Yeah.
More plane crashes.
I like that. You know what I'm saying?
Buildings fall. Oh,
How about
I
that?
don't want to get too.
Preparation.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
it just and then with that, angels are listening. Like,
Mhm.
I like that.
Con.
You know, the cats were fighting. You know, they're probably smelling the frankincense and murder. Got the, get the little demons out of them. You know what I'm saying?
Dogs got burgers.
God,
Mhm.
right? You probably listening right there in the back. You know, so we gather ourselves together. You know what I mean? Is what God commands us to do. And why is that? Let's get to verse 2.
Con. Verse 2. Before the decree, bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
Time. Okay, so before all that happens, get together with each other. All right. Let's read verse 3.
Con. Verse 3. Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment,
What does the meek of the earth do?
which have wrought, seek, Salakia,
Mhm.
all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment,
Kind of go ahead.
seek righteousness,
Mm-hmm.
seek meekness.
Mm-hmm.
It may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger.
Kind. So the day of the Lord's anger, that's that Jacob's trouble. You know, seek it now so you can be hid from it.
Con.
Right? I don't want to drink out of a puddle. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna fight Mookie for that puddle outside.
Me
You know
neither.
what I mean? I might lose. That cat can rumble. Yeah.
Mhm.
Probably beating the cat up in the back. That's what he
Right.
does. You know what I'm saying? So let's get raw judgment, right? Looking that up now. Give me 1 second. Where am I at?
Yeah, wrought his judgment.
I'm just missing it. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. It's like it. Raw judgment. Practice, commit, do, make, ordain, work. So it says, seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. So that's what we do. We come together, we gather ourselves together. We just be talking, you know what I mean? Just prophesying like Saul did with the prophets. He's sitting there and just started prophesying. And that's bringing on the judgment. You know, Dad, weren't we just talking about a sinkhole?
Mhm.
Weren't we just talking about a big earthquake that happened? And that's something that the government knows, and they keep close tabs on us, right? But eventually it's going to be known to everybody.
Right.
And y'all are going to be the draft picks. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Y'all going to be the number one draft pick. You know, $30 million to sign your name on this paper. You're like, I'll just take the $30 million. Okay, here you go. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are gonna be the you're the apple of the Most High's eye.
Con.
So eventually it's going to be known to everybody. All right, let's go to Psalm 81. So that's why it's important to gather yourselves together. After new moons, feast days, you can see the Lord's judgment upon the earth. It's blatantly obvious to us, but not so much to others. Oh, so you think that you did and you did that and da. Nah, the Most High did it, but He's listening to us as we talk.
Right.
He's listening to our thoughts, and even if we don't even say anything, just our spirits and our angels. You know what I'm saying? Because our spirit makes intercession with the Most High. Saying that right? So you don't even know what you're saying. You don't even know what you're praying for sometimes. So your spirit does. The spirit works in that aspect. Okay. Psalm 81 and verse 3.
Con. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 81 and verse 3. When everybody has it, please say Khan.
Khan.
Verse 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed, on our solemn feast day.
Khan. Go ahead.
For this was a statute for Israel and a law of God of Jacob.
Khan. So we blow up the trumpet on the new moon. Okay. And this is we meet every month. You know what I'm saying? Every month, God says, get together and watch what I do. You know what I mean? Watch the judgment I bring. Because our God is a God of judgment. He's not a God of high fives and handshakes.
And
He makes
love.
things happen.
And love.
Yeah. Love. God is love. Anything else? Nope. It's all love.
Oh, love.
But then he's bringing down airplanes all over the world,
Mhm.
or all over America. It's happening over the world, but America's been getting hit particularly hard,
Right.
you know. And that's, you want to take 10 tribes and throw them in Guantanamo Bay? You want to throw them in that prison in El Salvador? Now, that's not to say that none of them belong in jail.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if, our people go off, you know what I mean? But Guantanamo Bay is for terrorists. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
El Salvador, you never get out. And then he's bringing people there that never got in trouble before.
Mhm.
So when this start happening, and we see the writing on the wall, they're bringing out the guillotine for Mike Pence, what they going to do with us?
Right.
We got to lean on the Yahweh Shem Shai to destroy these people. All right, let's go to Isaiah 66. 15 is, oh man, it's a classic, but we're not gonna get there. we'll read that afterwards. 15, I'm sorry, 66 and start at 22.
Come. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 22. When everybody has it, please say Khan.
Come.
Khan, verse 22. For as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain.
Come. We talk about that in Sirach, your name, you know what I mean? Your legacy, you know what I'm saying? So think about that while you live. Where was that? I don't know. Why? Pretty much saying, while you live, you increase, but when you die, you're remembered. You know what I'm saying? By doing the work of Yahweh Shem Shai. And what more can somebody ask for? You know what I mean? Getting shot in a crack house, selling dope to your neighbors and stuff. That's no way to be remembered. You know what I'm saying? Sitting at the funeral like, he was a good boy back in, when he was 9, 10 years old, but he just went sideways. You know what I mean? That's just me pretty much saying you were a demon out here and God got you off this place. You know what I mean? We got to stay focused. Even though you can get a Rolls Royce selling crack, probably not, but you know what I mean? You get paid being a big time drug dealer, it's not worth it in the end. You know what I mean? Find yourself in Guantanamo Bay at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These guys I don't think they were particularly killers, but if they were taking over locations, remember like the I forget those guys' names in Venezuela, they took over apartment complex.
Yeah.
Them niggas probably in Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, Trump was like, all right, when I get in there, see what's going to happen. They knew who they were. They got their picture, their faces and all that. Them dudes is probably in Guantanamo Bay right now. You know what I mean? And good for them. I wouldn't want them out here. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of them too.
Huh?
There's a lot of them too.
There's a lot of them. Yeah, where they all had guns and yeah, big guns, small guns, and hats down and all this other stuff. So their names are mud at this point, and they're stuck there with terrorists. Now, I'm not saying everybody in there was on that type time, but we might look into that. You know, I'm not the one to say free such and such. Nah, you might have to keep him behind in jail so he get his act together. You know what I mean? Let's go with verse 23.
God, verse 23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord.
God, so we gotta get used to hanging out with each other, because this is something that we're gonna do forever. You know what I mean? As long as we here and breathing, we're gonna be celebrating the new moon. Okay. Sometimes it might be on some people watching online. You know what I mean? Others, we gather together. But either way, we're gonna do this work. All right, let's go to Numbers 10 and 10.
God.
And it's so simple, ain't it?
God.
The thing is just getting, you got to get here, right? Wherever it's at, you got to get there. Once you make it there, you sit back, you go over the scriptures, you read your book, you write down the scriptures, you eat, we pray, and we eat, drink, and be merry. That is following the laws of God. For anybody that says it's impossible, you can't do that. Nobody can do that.
Right.
We doing it right now.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Spiritual fringes. Spiritual fringes.
Oh, yes. Please no. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. God. All right, Kai, you can bring it out. Numbers 10 and 10.
Con, this is the book of Numbers, chapter 10 and verse 10. When everybody have it, please say Con. Con, verse 10. Also in the day of your gladness, and in your solemn days, and in the beginnings of your months, ye shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings, and over your sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your God. I am the Lord your God.
Con. So it's a memorial. It's something that we remember why we do what we do. You know what I mean? It's ordained by the Most High God. We're told to do this by God. You know what I mean? So all praises to the Most High. We keep this thing going, and hopefully more of our people will wake up to what they should be doing instead of following Easter. Or, let's just start with Easter. It's a bunny. Lays eggs.
What's it called? Esters. What's it called? Esters.
What
the god,
the bunny god.
Esters, something like that.
Con.
Yeah.
Halloween with no Halloween.
Yeah.
Right? You got candy any other day of the week. You don't have to have it on Halloween. You know what I mean? Candy ain't good for you anyway, but that's a whole other topic.
And then it fell on 420. So
Con. Yeah, people was high as a kite going
on Easter in the church.
In Easter, going to church. Right? Got any more of those Easter eggs, man? Stone Cold Steve Austin. Right? And what we've been noticing, I know everybody else been noticing, right? The Most High has been putting these feast days and their holy days, or holidays rather, on the same day.
Right.
So it's really not, it's no question. It's like, okay, did you celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles? What? Nah, why would I do that? The same day as like Halloween or something. Maybe not be that late. But these are Hanukkah, same day as Christmas.
Yep.
New moons, same day as we say 420 or whatever. You know what I mean? God is doing that for a reason, and I think we can all see that. Right? All right, let's go to Judges 5 and 11. We'll end there.
I got one more after that too.
Okay. All right.
Con, this is the book of Judges, chapter 5 and verse 11. When everybody has it, please say Con.
Con.
Verse 11. They that are delivered from the noise of archers in the place of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates.
So wherever we're at, we're going to rehearse the righteous acts. We're in captivity. We're going to rehearse the righteous acts. You know what I mean? We're going to get it. We're going to get it right. You know what I mean? We're going to do what we can do to stay in order and to stay focused in these last days. All right. So anything you want to bring out?
Bring out Colossians 2, chapter 2 and verse 16.
Con.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 2 and verse 16. When everybody has it, please say Con.
Okay, let me read it. Let me read it.
Con, you can bring it.
Con. Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day or of the new moon or of the Sabbath days.
Con. So that's what we're celebrating, just like you said earlier. It's a double Shabbat, and you know, a lot of people are not celebrating that. On the way coming here, we saw a lot of barbecues, a lot of people celebrating things other than what we're supposed to be celebrating as the new moons. And we can't let them judge us in what we do, in meat or in drink. We're supposed to be celebrating as the Most High commanded us to do, is celebrate his new moons and the Sabbath days. But we want to do other things, and that's why the Most High is judging this place. That's why it's going to be, your bread going to be $20 soon. That's why your eggs is already $10, $20, $30, and you trying to give it up for free and then have you buy all this other stuff. That's why you're going through the things you're going through. Oh yeah.
And you seeing that the barbecues and everybody partying and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think this shooting number, this count, this murder rate going to be tonight? This gonna be a bloody weekend. You know what I mean? Because they doing what they're not supposed to be doing.
Yep.
But then you bring it up and they're like, it's too early. It's gotta be sensitive. Be nice. Nah. Gotta keep it real. All right. So that is the lesson. Okay. Hopefully it's edifying. Prepare ye the way of the Lord. Prepare yourself to meet him. Prepare. All right. We're living in the last days and things are only going to get rougher. You know what I'm saying? So we can make it easier for ourselves by following these law, statutes, commandments.
Right.
And the Most High, as it says in all throughout the scriptures, but we were just reading in Zephaniah, he's going to hide us in the day of trouble. All right. If we do what we're supposed to do. Hom Yashab.
Hom Yashab.
Right. All praises to Yahweh Shem Mashiach Yahshai. The new moon. All right, so we are going to say our prayers and eat, drink, and be merry. All right. So let's start with the sisters that come up. To get oil. No, I was like that the whole time. I noticed that like halfway through. All right. So for the new moon, second month. Meditate. Think about what you would like the Most High to do for you during this month, the amazing things he has done. You know what I mean? And And of course, we're going to go from Sabalana over, say the name 3 times. Okay, so Jesse Yatai, repeating after me. Yabaraki Yahweh,
Abaraki Yahweh,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
An Yahweh,
An Yahweh,
Pun Yahweh,
Pun Yahweh,
Anyakar,
Anyakar,
Hanyakar,
Hanyakar,
Yasha'a Yahweh,
Yashihawa,
Pun Yahweh,
Pun Yahweh,
Anyakar,
Hanyakar,
Shemnakar,
Shemakar,
Shalom,
Shalom,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bashem,
Bashem,
Mashiach,
Hamashiach,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
Babakashar,
Babakashah,
Shemai,
Shemai,
Nawa,
Nawa,
Aitha,
Aitha,
Shalat,
Sherlat,
Micah Allah,
Micah
Elohim,
Alahayim,
La,
La,
Shema'io,
Shama'ayo,
Barak,
Barak,
Rapar,
Rapar,
Izar,
Izar,
Magun,
Magun,
Kazak,
Kazak,
Ataziyar,
Ataziyar,
Bawa,
Bawa,
Sabalana,
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 Yash,
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 Amani,
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 Amani, Amani,
Ko,
Kol,
Akim,
Akim,
Ko,
Kol,
Akwathium,
Aquathium,
Ko,
Kol,
Bunyam,
Bunyam,
Yasha'ala,
Yasha'ala,
Bashem,
Bashem,
Hamashiach,
Hamashiach,
Yahushai,
Yahushua,
the water,
Awada,
Awala,
Awala,
Awalam,
Awalam,
Aman,
Aman.
All right. All praises. All right. Now the men, come on up. Men or man or boy? Yeah, boy. All right. Right over there. All right. So, same thing. Think about what you would like the Most High to do for you this month. Meditate on the things He has done and the things He's going to continue to do, and anything else you have in your mind. Meditate on that while we pray. Okay. All right. And just meditate on that. We're going to be doing the talking, and afterwards, say your name 3 times. Okay. Yabaraki Yahweh,
Abaraki Yahweh,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
An Yahweh,
An Yahweh,
Pun Yahweh,
Pun Yahweh,
Anyakar,
Anyakar,
Hanyakar,
Hanyakar,
Yasha'a Yahweh,
Yashai Yahweh,
Pun Yahweh,
Pun Yahweh,
Anyakar,
Anyakar,
Shemnakar,
Shemakar,
Shalom,
Shalom,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bashem,
Bashem,
Mashiach,
Hamashiach,
Yahushai,
Yahushua,
Babakashar,
Babakashah,
Shemai,
Shemai,
Nawa,
Nawa,
Aitha,
Aitha,
Shalak,
Salat,
Micah Allah,
Maki'ala,
Elohim,
Alahayim,
La,
La,
Shema'io,
Shama'ayo,
Barak,
Barak,
Rapar,
Rapar,
Izar,
Izar,
Magun,
Magun,
Kazak,
Kazak,
Ataziyar,
Ataziyar,
Bawa,
Bawa,
Philip,
Philo,
Philo, Yatai,
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 Yatai, Kasadia,
Kasaja,
Kasadia,
Kasaja,
Kasadia,
Kasaja,
Kasadia,
Kasaja,
Kol,
Kol,
Akim,
Akim,
Kol,
Kol,
Akwathium,
Aquathium,
Kol,
Kol,
Bunyam,
Bunyam,
Yasha'ala,
Yasha'ala,
Bashem,
Bashem,
Hamashiach,
Hamashiach,
Yahushai, the
Yahushua,
water,
Tawada,
Awala,
Awala,
Awalam,
Awalam,
Aman,
Amun.
Ken.
Yeah.
All right. All praises. Okay. So let's all stand and face the east, and we'll close out in prayer. All right. Abanawa,
Abanawa,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Kodash,
Kodash,
Ayah,
Ayah,
Shemaka,
Shemaka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Malakbaka,
Malakbaka, Taba'ah, Razaka, Ayah, Asha, Marataza, Kawa, Ayah, Mashamayim, Nathanawa, Lachon, Kau, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kawawafinawa, Kasalafnawa,
Kawawafinawa,
Kawawafinawa, Wala'a, Dabinawa, Baisayo 1, Abo, Shainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Malakwa, Wa'ala, Watataparaf, Yamnum, Amen.
Lord Yahweh Bashem Mashiach Yahushua, we come to you humble and shamefaced in these last days. Baruch Kashar, Baruch Kashar, Baruch Kashar. Please accept our sacrifices, accept our prayers, and continue to protect and watch over us in these last days. Please watch, Slakia. Bless the hands that made the food. Watch over those that aim to be righteous out of the 12 tribes of Israel. Vex, oppress, bring down, destroy our enemies, and make it public. Baruch Kashar, Baruch Kashar, Baruch Kashar. And we will continue to shout out your name throughout the four corners, whether it be on the street corner, on the internet, wherever. The water for everything. In Yahweh's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
Good.
Right on. Okay. Eat, drink, and be merry. Women and children first.
Good.
Men, you gotta wait. All right, take your time. Men. Let the women and children eat first, okay?
Good.
All right. Okay. Shalom, Israel. Keep going. All right. Hopefully it was edifying. Kom Yasha.
Shalom.
Shalom.